And then free from having faulty Arabic pronunciation. Tajweed is a fard. To recite the Fatiha and the surah with tajweed is an obligation. من لم يجود القرآن آثم. If you don't do the tajweed, it's sinful. And at least now you don't need to know the ahkam of tajweed. What's called tafasil is a fard kifaya. So to know like this is a ghunna and this is idgham bila ghunna, that this is qalqala or this is ikhfa, like those specific rules. You don't, like if somebody asks you, why'd you say وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى? Why'd you say ضَالًّا فَهَدَى? Why didn't you say ضَالًّا فَهَدَى? Why'd you say it that way? And they don't know. That's fine as long as they did it properly, right? So sirajan wahaja. They don't know that's idgham, but they don't say sirajan wahaja. They don't pronounce that noon. As long as they come with the idgham, then they're fulfilling the obligation. They don't have to know that that's what it is, all right? So if somebody can recite that. Now there's lahn khafi and lahn jali. Lahn khafi, most of the ulama say that, if they have a lahn jali, like if it's an egregious lahn, like they say, walad zalin, that's jelly. Like nobody's going to debate that, and then their prayer is valid for them, but not for others. And so the ulama differ. Some of them say if nobody knows tajweed, they should all pray on their own. Yeah, because nobody should, you're putting somebody forward and he's supposedly taking the prayer of the others, but his prayer is invalid technically because he can't pronounce the Fatiha properly. So if that's his excuse, it's his personal excuse. It's not an excuse for the others. So that's the idea behind that he should do the prayer. Everybody should do the prayer on their own. That's one opinion, So basically, they should have a good thing. Some of them say as long as they don't, even if they don't come with the ahkam al-tajweed as they are, but the makharij and the sifat are correct, then it's valid. Now, one of the nice things about the Fatiha is there's only what ruling is in Fatiha? What's that? That's it. Yeah, sirat. Yeah, sirat al-ladina. So there's only tafkhim in the Fatiha. What ad-dallin, da is tafkhim. Huh? And mad, yeah. But they're not related. It's mad lazim. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Everybody does it anyway, because that's the way everybody learned the Fatiha. I think so. You don't think so? Oh, really? Okay. There's whole books written on that subject. In the Fatiha, the nice thing is that there's qira'at that have the sad as seen, sirat, and then there's a qira'ah between sad and between. It's like a zirat al-mustaqim. But people make big mistakes, like they'll do like ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, and then they'll stop, and then they'll say as-sirat al, they'll do things because they're used to, like if you do it ihdina sirat al-mustaqim as-sirat, so you've got that because of the fatha. So they'll do like ihdina sirat al-mustaqim as-sirat al-ladina. Those are like major mistakes, and because it's a complete mispronunciation of the Quran. It changes the meaning. So if you have tahrif al-ma'ani, you're in a whole other, that's a big problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Yeah, no, Fatiha is the key thing. But if they're making like i'rab problems, then they're just jahil. I mean, there's a lot of learned people that can't pronounce the Quran very well. Like Pakistan's filled with ulama that make mistakes. Morocco, I mean, I've seen some like giants, real, I mean, just run rings around most of the ulama walking around today. And they have bad Quranic pronunciation because they're old school. That Tajweed is it's been revived in the last 30 years. So if you meet some of these older, like 70-year-old Moroccans, I mean, they recite the Quran abominably. Really. Tullatun min al-ladina, tullatun min al-awwalina wa tullatun min al-akhirin. That's the way they pronounce it. But they know, if you ask them the ahkam, if you ask them sifat al-tha, they'll give all the sifat al-huruf. Oh yeah, no, they know all the ahkam. They didn't learn it. There was no tatbiq. I mean, if you listen to the Quran reciters on the radio in Morocco from the 1950s and 60s, they all mispronounce the Quran. I mean, the king's reciter, it's terrible pronunciation. They're great recitations. I mean, I love them because they've got these nice nagam and, but the actual tajweed is not there. I mean, tajweed's been revived in, Mekki bin Kiran revived it in Morocco. It was revived in this generation. It's only the last 20 years that Moroccans have really taken tajweed seriously, but now they're starting to win the competitions. Mauritanians have better tajweed than Moroccans, but they make, you've heard like, Sheikh Salek, Rami, they don't pronounce the, because they don't have that. I mean, they actually consider it, some of the Mauritanians consider it takalluf. Like they really see it as takalluf. It's too much, the Eastern thing. They think it's too much, but I mean, it's not true. It's not true. Because it's Bedouin, they're Bedouin, so they've got the bare minimum. I mean, they recite properly, but they don't have the level of tajweed that you find in Cairo or Syria or something like that. But they're fuqaha. I mean, that's the difference. Like they know it all, So, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ said one of the signs of the end of time. He said antum, he said antum qalilun qurra'ukum, kathirun fuqaha'ukum. There's not many Quran reciters amongst you, but there's a lot of fuqaha. He said, تُحَافِظُونَ حُدُودَ الْقُرْآنِ وَتُضَيِّعُونَ حُرُوفَهُ. You know the meanings of the Quran and you guard those hudud, but you're not as vigilant about the like tajweed. And he said, سَيَأْتِي عَلَى أُمَّتِي زَمَانٍ كَثِيرٌ قُرَّأُهُم. Their Quran reciters are many. قَلِيلٌ فُقَهَاؤُهُم. And their fuqaha are few. يُحَافِظُونَ حُرُوفَهُ وَيُضَيِّعُونَ حُدُودُهُ. They guard the exact measures of the letters, but they don't apply the rulings. And that's a clear mu'jiza of the Prophet ﷺ, because our ummah is filled with people that are masters of tajweed. I mean, and now you've got taxi drivers because of al-Husari and all these people. I mean, I've heard Egyptian, really, uneducated Egyptians, and they recite perfect Quran because they listen to all day long, and they do it. So they're getting talaqi without really knowing it. They're really taking it from masters.